We loved designing the washroom at the Weighton Project, and we incorporated a few things that are a little, not typical. We did not want to do the typical stone, but we wanted it to be earthy, to be, organic, to be spa-like without being on the nose. And we did that with obviously the beige, the color palette is neutral. And then we set it off with a bit of some drama on the vanity. And again, we went with white oak, which was locally sourced, sustainable. Is part of the strategy with this client. Sustainability was huge, and we kept that in line in every part of the house we designed. We love the texture on the walls. It was a natural porcelain tiles that are made specifically to feel, warm and feel nice against you. It doesn't retain the coldness. And of course we had the floor heating in here. So when you come into the space, even though it's super simple, it just makes you feel centered, and you feel well taken care of as you go about your business in this space. We set it off again against some really nice, darker champagne tone hardware, which again was part of what the client wanted. We carried it, harmoniously across the house, especially with the kitchen that had some of the same, champagne tones. And we just kept it neutral, clean, and super, you feel comforted being here. You feel, fuzzy. And that was what we're going for with this client in this particular project. And we thought we nailed it. We used certain strategies within the space to elevate what we were getting. Again, we're trying to do high impact. So we used the tones of the hardware against the glass, and the neutrality of the palette was intentional. And we did that specifically to incorporate some color without the color. So we didn't want to go with the regular porcelain slabs or, the whole stone look, because that's typical. Instead, we wanted spa-like, but at a certain price point that gave the feeling of zen and spa within the space. And we did that using a lot of neutrals, a lot of texture to set off the neutrals. And where we could incorporate color, we did, using a darker vanity top. Again, we kept in line with sustainability throughout. These were locally sourced porcelain tiles that were nicely installed specifically to the client's wants. And we went with a large format on the floor so that it gave a bit of a seamless design and flow throughout the space. The layout before was different. So we reworked the layout specifically at the pre-design stage with the architect liaising with the architect, which is what we do for the interior design strategies consultations that we do with our clients. And that included swapping out where we put the shower versus where the WC was located. And that was done on purpose to help the client get the idea of freeness within the space and be able to appreciate just the feeling of being able to see outdoors. But the idea is for them to have like an unhindered access, visual access to the outdoors, but still kind of maintain a certain level of privacy. Again, we created more storage within the space in a clever way where it was tucked between the shower and the WC. And again, it was just about impact and using things that elevated the space and made it feel bigger in terms of the use of glass. So there are no obstructions in your views in this space. It's seamless. You come in and it feels bigger, more expansive than it really is. We achieved a harmony in the space by tying fluted oak design throughout the space, where we did the millwork design with the millwork manufacturers. So it was intentional. We wanted to create that texture throughout the house in a balanced way where it's visually nice, but it's not over the top. And we did that using the fluted cabinets specifically in the washroom, like the ensuite, and we actually carried that through with the kitchen. And we set that off also against the textured tile, which is reminiscent of the flutedness. And it kind of flows with each other without competing, but it's intentional because it's creating the harmony and the balance within the space. We carry the color palette throughout the house. As you can see here, we have the beige the creams and the, the organic colors, the off-white organic colors tied in through the house with the kitchen panels. And here we use the exact same white oak cabinets we used in the kitchen hood to create harmony and visual, just continuity throughout the house. With these washrooms, which are the secondary washrooms in the Weighton Project, we incorporated the fluted texture around the house, but used in a different way to accentuate just the space in this particular washroom. These washrooms are small, so we wanted to have a little bit of fun. So we went with the terrazzo against the oak, the wood feel fluted tiles, which are tiles, and then setting it off against the black hardware to add, another layer of visual interest. So they look a little different in terms of the palette, in terms of the color, but we purposely did that to have a bit more fun with this space because the client have younger kids who I think this kind of shows a bit more fun and a bit more whimsy. It's not too serious, and I think we kind of maintain some of the the defining features without necessarily going with the same palette in this space. Originally, the shower was a little bigger and it was taking up a little bit too much of the vanity space. So we went a little tighter on the shower because we still had enough room to have a decent shower but not have it so wide. And we created that and rearranged some of that so that we could get a slightly bigger vanity that serves more of the function for the space for this elderly family member within the house. So though this is similar in the palette that we used for the kids shower, but this is a little bigger in terms of allowing more room for storage for this elderly family member. In Project Weighton, we have tied in elements throughout the home. We've used, white oak in certain parts. However, we went a little different in the basement. And even though there's harmony where we've tied in some of the black accents and the hardware, but we went a little wild with the choice of, cladding in terms of the surface material over here. We chose a really nice porcelainer tile that mimics marble. So we do not have the marble feel, the shininess, but we still managed to, to save a little bit by going with this look, and was still able to get that high impact, a little more drama, but without the need of using, fabrication, a lot of stone, a lot of cladding. And it was also more sustainable because obviously it's less wasteful, again, tying into some of the goals aligned with the goals of the client. We also made sure that because it's a basement washroom, we needed to preserve the feeling of, just having the space within here. So we went less tight here and just had more room for the vanity, but still used the back side for the entire shower. But there's room. It does not feel constrained. It doesn't feel dark. We went lighter on the palette without going super light. Still had drama, but choosing something that had a bit more fun to it, but not dark. So that way you still have, just a really nice washroom in the basement, even though, sometimes people don't prioritize the basement showers, but we do. We prioritize it. We make it look wow. We always achieve high impact, and we do that by using, again, textures and materiality. And what we promise our client is by going with our strategies, we end up increasing the value of the home. And it's something that we take very seriously. It's something that we've done often enough to know that they work. Again, here, due to the use of carefully chosen materials and that give impact, we haven't left the bathroom out. We haven't left the basement out. The general design of the house is cohesive. There's, harmony and there's balance. There's a feeling of well-being within the space. And we achieve it by choosing the right materials and changing things when they don't work out with the layout. And overall, we add value by doing that to the house, whether it be for resale or just for the visual interest when people come into the space, conversation starters. We use that with texture, the back wall. People come in to hear it and entertaining. It's a house made for entertainment. And every room they go in kind of holds a little bit of a surprise. And it's something that works for us at the House of Banstead. It's something that I prioritize as a design strategy. And I always just introduce something that you do not see anywhere else, something that is a conversation starter, something that makes someone else go, wow, where did you get that? It's part of our design philosophy, and we're always very proud when the clients, love our work, and it really elevates the way they feel within the space.